Howdy there, and welcome to the 20-year anniversary review of Evanescence's first studio album, Fallen. Now going into this, I had never heard this album before in full. I've heard certain songs from it, I'd heard bits and pieces of it before, but I'd never heard the full album. I'd never gotten the full Evanescence-fallen experience. And here we are. And without a doubt, I can safely say that this is one of the best albums I have heard in a long time. Genuinely quickly becoming one of my favorite nu metal albums of recent memory. I think everything done on this album was done so unique and so well that really make it stand apart from the rest of the crowd, the rest of the genre. Opening up this album is one of my favorite songs on the album. The opener, Going Under. I had heard the song before, listening to the album quite a few times. I was a fan of this song beforehand, but putting it into the perspective of the rest of the album, it is such an amazing, opening track, and it just sort of gives you, a feel of, what the album is going to be, what the main sound of this piece is going to be. And honestly, for this song and the rest of the album, the main selling point and the main thing that really sets it apart from everything else, for the most part, the main drawing factor of it is Amy Lee vocally. She is an incredible singer and really just such a different voice in this sort of music. You don't really tend to hear female, singers or see female-fronted bands in metal, so hearing it on this album in particular, it was amazing, and I honestly hate that we don't get more of that in this genre, because it's sort of it's a different sort of style vocally for the most part, most of the time, different what's the word I'm looking for? It's just a different feeling, and it's a really unique feeling and a very unique thing that this band does well, which is sad that having a female vocalist is unique. That being said, it's not just the fact that obviously she's a female vocalist and that sets her apart, also the fact that she's just an amazing singer as well. I don't want to act like, oh my god, she's a feminist hero because she sings metal good. No, she is also just a good singer, not just the fact that there's that. Her voice is incredible. You wouldn't expect it to lend itself so well to these sort of heavier songs and everything, but she has a very beautiful voice, and it really just carries the songs the entire way through. And outside of just her singing, the guitar work on this is absolutely incredible. Every riff on this thing just really cuts deep. It hits hard. It is such a... The guitars have such a good feeling to them on this album. I don't know the name of their guitarist on this album, not like it matters. I know the only one left in the band from this album is Amy Lee for some reason. I don't know about that. I don't know about the band's history and inner dramas and stuff. I don't care. This is solely about the music right now. But either way, guitarist on this was absolutely incredible the whole way through. Every single riff felt like it hit. It felt like it had weight. That weight mixed with Amy Lee's just soaring vocals really hit you. It brought a huge feeling over me of just being overwhelmed and in awe, and it really stuck. These songs are incredible. Obviously the second track on this album, Bring Me to Life, everybody knows that, and I hate to say it, I loved this song going into this album. It's a good song. I've listened to this song my entire life, pretty much, because that song came out the year I was born. I have heard it countless times. And I've heard it a lot. And that's sort of how I even heard of this band, as many people probably did. It's one of the weaker songs on this album, It doesn't really bring it as much as the other songs. It's not bad by any means, but what holds it back, in my opinion, is whoever the fuck this other guy is on the track. Little history, he was thrown on there because the record label didn't think a female singer could really sell a song like this. And honestly, with him on this song, it feels so, cookie cutter formulaic for the time. It feels like typical nu metal. Oh, someone sings, somebody rap, someone sings, somebody rap. And yeah, there are a lot of bands that can do that well, like Linkin Park. Not trying to diss them, I love Linkin Park. But it just doesn't work. You can tell that it was sort of like, it was a grab to try to get this song airplay. And it worked. It worked wonderfully. It became their biggest hit. And it's not a bad song, honestly, but it doesn't have the same feeling as the others, and it's a little weak in comparison to the rest of the album. My Immortal is an absolutely beautiful song. Genuinely, like, such a... I don't even know have the words to describe it. It's an incredible song. What I like about Amy Lee as well, vocally, is that, yes, she can have these, like, soaring vocals over these, like, heavy guitar riffs and everything, and, like, make a larger than life sound throughout this entire album, but during the slower moments that voice also comes into factor. It really drives the slower moments, brings them up and higher and everything, as well as the amazing writing on songs like My Immortal just really set it apart from the rest of the album. I don't often see myself liking sort of the slower songs on the album. It's not usually my thing, but when it's done really well, I can acknowledge it, and I really do enjoy it, and My Immortal encapsulates that perfectly. Some other standout tracks on this album include Haunted, which isn't really too unique for this album, but I did really thoroughly enjoy it, as well as Everybody's Fool, Hello, which is sort of like a similar feeling song to My Immortal. I feel like that wasn't really necessary in the context of the album, considering we have My Immortal, but it is also a really good song that excels in the same way that song does. The sort of synth intro on, like, My Last Breath is absolutely amazing, and not something you would expect from this album. It flows into, like, the guitar really well, and then you can fucking picture me, oh yeah, to that song. It's great. But the best track on this album, by far in my opinion, and probably the best song I have heard in quite some time, is Whisper. When I tell you that my first time hearing this song, I was just genuinely speechless and blown away would be an understatement. And it still holds that effect on subsequent listens. Whisper is an absolutely huge song. Just an amazing build-up, amazing instrumentation throughout. The guitar riff is my favorite on this entire album. It's just this chugging, like, deep cutting, like, riff mixed with choir vocals, like backing choir vocals, and obviously Amy Lee kills it with leads on this thing, absolutely slaughters it. And like halfway through the song, you get like these beautiful violins, and backed with the choir vocals and the guitar riff. It is some of the most amazing instrumentation, most amazing just blending of instruments I have heard in quite some time. And the fact that this song ends with a violin fade out section, oh my god. And that's how the album ends too. Once I was finished with this album for the first time, I sat there in awe of how good it was, how good Whisper was, how great the rest of the album was. This is an album that I cannot recommend enough, and I think this is one I'm going to be coming back to for quite some time. Honestly, I don't see a lot of people talking about it online, and it really kind of sucks, because I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think it's an amazing spin on the nu metal genre. It's very different from the time. It's very different from anything like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Korn, any of those sort of in that sort of nu metal space bands. Even like Slipknot, it's very different. It's a unique style and a unique sound, even outside of just the vocals. I think it is done really well, and obviously it also has some like goth-inspired instrumentation and songwriting as well. That's no secret. And I feel like that mixed with the nu metal sort of genre really ties it all together as sort of a different experience within the genre that stands above a lot of other projects from even like more established bands, even though like Evanescence isn't like an unestablished band by any means. Either way, highly recommend this album. It is quite possibly the best album I've heard in some time. Whisper is one of my favorite songs of recent memory. Just give it a listen. I highly recommend it. Also, side note, I think this is sort of an older printing too, because I got the CD for it for $1. I got it for $1, dude. It was nuts when I saw this and picked it up. It's in really good condition too, but I think this is an older printing too, because look, the title is here, but like when I've seen on newer printings and on Spotify, the title was here. And I didn't notice that until I went to add this album to my playlist. Also, getting to listen to this on CD for the first time listening to it was so much better. I like listening to CDs. I have a huge CD collection. It's down here. It used to be up here in videos. I should do a video on showing off my CD collection. I should do that sometime. Anyway, that's going to be it. Little outro here first. I do have a lot of content planned for the future. I know I was going to do a Paramore and Pierce the Veil album ranking, but I feel like I just never got around to those, and it's kind of too late now, which sucks, because I did enjoy both those albums. Either way, that doesn't mean anything. I just need a little break from making content for a bit, but that doesn't mean anything's changing. I love making YouTube videos. It's something I've been doing for years, something I thoroughly enjoy working on. But either way, thank you for watching. Look forward to the next videos. I have some plans coming up. Yeah, that's about it. Bye. Love you.